What's up, besties? I hope you're having a wonderful day. This is like fully unscripted, so yeah. I just realized that I have this thing going on where when I drew an elf in 2018, and this was my very first like digital drawing done with my tablet ever. Like I got my tablet, and when testing the tablet, I did that. And then I did it in 2020, and I was like, yeah, so it's not going to be a yearly thing, but I just realized that it can be like 2 yearly, bi-yearly. What would be the word? I don't know English, sorry. Um, anyway, so this would be the time to do it. I mean, I should have done it earlier in the year because I got the tablet for my birthday, and my birthday is at the beginning on January, so yeah, this year is ending, but I rushed myself to do it before the year ends, and because right now everyone's busy. We're preparing for Christmas, or if you're not having Christmas, then you probably have other traditions like around the same time of the year, and there's lots of things to prepare, like running back and forth and cleaning and buying stuff and all this chaos. And also like when it comes to having classes, like both in school and in uni, there's this time of tension because you have to have good grades at the end of semester. And yeah, I was worried I won't have time, but I did finish it, so good for me. um yeah, I was really worried I'm not going to outdo myself, because I still feel very, very confident about like that last version from 2020. I feel like it was good already. Like I would put it like next to my current art pieces and not feel like it's sticking out too bad. So you know, uh, it's much easier. It was much easier to outdo myself back then than right now. Um, so when it comes to changes, I did like consciously. First of all, while I still tried to do it vibrantly, I didn't do it as vibrantly, because first of all, it was just easier to shade the hood like this, like using other warm colors and not just the straight up most vibrant yellow possible, and then make it darker by not vibrant yellows. I just wanted the shadows to be more vibrant. Uh, so it's like more gold looking. I don't know. I'm not sure if I like how I did the hood. That's the one part I don't know. Also, I added a lot of texture. Because I really like texture now. Like the previous piece, the most texture thing you can see out there is like me not fully blending on the face to make like these little paint looking parts. But here I just actually added texture both when it comes to the brushes, I used. I really like the like crayon and paint brushes, and when it comes to like just straight up putting texture in there, I've got this one thing I did with watercolor some time ago, where I just did the thing where you like put lots of water on your paper and then add the color, so wet on wet technique, and then you sprinkle salt on top. And I just like using that to add texture to my pieces. I've got also like some other like textured pieces I've made I like using as textures in my artwork, but this is probably my favorite one. And yeah, I've used it both like one time as background, like just on the background, and also on a smaller opacity, like on the whole piece. And the way I do it is I just take this PNG I have out of it. I have it in really, really good quality. You may be able to see it on the time lapse, I'm not sure. but it's way bigger than my piece because I just scanned it in like the highest quality my printer could. So it's not like pixelating or anything like that. And I just put it in the drawing. And I just use the overlay blending mode, and then especially when I'm putting it on like the main pieces I want to still be very very visible, I turn the opacity down, and sometimes, but not in this case, I also erase parts. Um, so I did that. It's actually quite kind of funny because when it comes to like digital art, I do a lot to add in textures like that you would expect from traditional art, like here, the watercolor texture and some crayon textures and some other textures. But when I make traditional art, I often try to not have any visible textures. Like I like the method when I just stamp my brush and make the little visible brush strokes. That one's cool. But when it comes to like crayons, I like to have everything smooth, and also even when it comes to like stamping the brush, I really like having it in this like very not brush like way. I don't know how to call it. I just like having like the blobs of color, like just the very simple shapes that you can't see really, that where you can't really see like the hairs from the brush, or like it's flat on and like it lays flat on the paper, and stuff like that. Well, here I'm just adding stuff just for the sake of it. I don't know, I just really like how it just adds details very very easily, especially when it comes to like things like the background where I'm not working too hard on it. When it comes to the changes in the color scheme, you can also see that I tried to make the character more in focus. Overall, the path I took this time was just trying to have more details in it. Once again, make it more realistic, because I feel like that one still has a lot of charm. So I was not going to like do better in that regard. Also, I decided to do one thing that I rarely do, which is have an open mouth. I really hate drawing teeth. So yeah, I thought maybe that would show that I am capable of doing that, but then I was really avoiding it. Like you can't see my characters ever opening mouths back then. Also, I was playing much more with eyes, with different things. A big change when it comes to this piece I'm doing here and the ones before is that I'm using different drawing programs, because both of these were done in Sketchbook, and now I'm using Clip Studio Paint, as you can see. Clip Studio Paint has a lot of options that make my process faster, but yeah, I think the amount of time this piece and the one from 2020 took is very similar, while you can see like the amount of details is very different. I feel like a lot of the changes that might be visible here are also due to having better tools, which is are also different tools in general. Like one thing I really like using is the correction layer gradient map, where I will just do my shading in grayscale, and it's much easier for me to do it this way than putting the actual colors in immediately, because I can see the value of the color better, and then just put the gradient map on top of it. And when it comes to things like skin isn't like perfectly shaded like that, so I also use other layers that I clip on top, where I just put some blush and some other colors in there to like make it look less flat, less dead. I don't know how to describe it. So it makes the process much faster, much easier, and just way more convenient. But also changes the end result. I don't know. I like the shading on the 2021 a lot, especially the nose. I feel like the nose was very cute. And probably like the pink cheeks. I wanted to have like a more visible cheekbones here. I felt like since I'm doing like the little vampire-like teeth with like big fangs, I want her to look more dangerous, and I feel like the visible cheekbones kind of had this very serious look. Perhaps she's just growing up, I'm looking like right now at these three images. Maybe she's just aging. Maybe she was so round on the first piece, not just because I didn't know how to have a proper head shape. Maybe she was a child with a very thick neck and a very small body. Maybe that's how it was. But yeah, one thing I really like about the new piece is I wanted to try putting little rainbows in the hair, and I found a really good technique for that. First, like in places where I want these rainbows, and these will be the places where I think light will hit the hair, but also places where I have enough space to make a rainbow. I do these like H-shaped thingies. People do them often for like highlights when it comes to stylized art. I do them like in gray, and then I lock the layer opacity so I can only draw within that border, and I then just using a small airbrush make little rainbows inside of it. And then one dumb thing I did, I only realized right now, is that I should unlock the opacity so I can blend it better. But I used the fingertip blending thing, and I just moved it around to make it like more hair looking. I like using the fingertip for hair a lot in general. So that's cool. One cool thing Clip Studio Paint has that Sketchbook didn't is also the clipping layer thing. It's very common, like most art programs have it. Even like when it comes to stuff you can get for your phone from what I've tried. And it makes the process much easier. I wanted to just add a lot of like more funky details, like you can see the crystals are more detailed. You can see I added some like patterns on the hood. The patterns of the hood and on the shirt were actually very, very easy to make because I just used brushes that are inbuilt into Clip Studio Paint. They're in the decoration category. They're inbuilt, and yeah, I am very, very not sure if I managed to capture that charm I used to have in the previous one. But I think you can see like some technical improvements. So that's one thing. I'm really not sure if I outdid myself. There is a lot of like technical things that I was able to see that were not exactly perfect. Like the hood was looking really weird and unnatural on her head, and also the choker was way too big. I feel like it was taking a lot of attention, and also I think the neck was too thick too. Again, I don't know what was my thing for like very thick necks. Right now, most of my neck is covered in hair, but if it wasn't, it would not be as thick. Also, I feel like we are zooming out when I'm looking at these three images, you know. So yeah, that's a thing. Apparently, I guess once again I had a bit more understanding of the colors, so I wanted like the main parts of the drawing to where I can want to draw the focus to stick out more. So for example, my instinct was to like make the skirt that's like blue a much more vibrant shaded blue, but I realized that it's not a relevant part and I don't want to draw attention to it, so I toned it down. Some more things that I used to unify it more that Clip Studio Paint allowed me and Sketchbook didn't was first it was correction layers with tone curves to like get the colors out more, because I wasn't feeling like the hair is the purple color. Right now it's like still a bit more turquoise than it was, but I'm content with it. At least when it comes to the color, and yeah. And also hue, saturation, and luminosity to make it, you know, more vibrant. Not like super more vibrant, not to lose any details, but you know, a little bit. Also, back when I did the 2021, I was already doing the white outline, I think, but I just didn't feel it on this piece. I don't know. I feel maybe I did it and then deleted it. I don't remember. Fun fact is, I am still using the exact same drawing tablet I did in the first piece. Also, while we're on the tablet part, I think it's also worth to mention, because you know, when talking about tablets, I most often hear people praising Wacom and that Wacom tablets are so great. And I'm using a Huion, and I just want to say I'm very happy with this. You know, it's been 6 years, almost 7, and it's all perfectly good as it was when I first got it. Maybe with the exception that the stylus is that the stylus needs to be charged more often, but you know, it's not a big deal. And you know, it's just working great for me. So if you want to buy a drawing tablet, you don't have to go for the most expensive ones. That works too. I don't know. I'm just like looking at all these 3 pictures. I think the first one looks so silly because I just you can see the pictogram method on that one. You know, I just wanted to have a head, have eyes, have a nose, have lips, and I didn't use any references for it, probably because like the proportions are very wacky. Uh, uh it do be like that, I guess. I think she looks very silly. I don't know. I really like this challenge because it kind of lets you see your own improvements much more easily, because you know, you are comparing yourself to like your past self and not to the others, because when you compare yourself to the others, especially online, it's really bumming out because there's so many incredibly talented people, and uh you know, it's just this feeling, oh, I'm never going to be this good, I could never be this good. But then, you know, I look at the difference here, and you know, I think the 2018 me would just shit herself if she saw what I did now. She would. And I guess this challenge is also something that I feel like could appeal to non-artists because at least watching it, perhaps not doing it, because it shows you that everyone starts somewhere, and even if you're absolutely shit right now, like time and practice does change, does give you a lot of skill, and you know um, that artists are just people who did put in that time in practice, and that if they start, they can also achieve something like this, perhaps even quicker than me, because I feel like one of the reason why I don't do any challenge like that yearly is that I don't progress this fast. But I don't know. I really like the 2020 versions too. I don't think I could pull it off to make it in any way better last year. I don't know. I feel like you can see improvement here, like in several things. The 2020 version has its charm, but it also has things in it that annoy me a lot, and I got rid of these things. Like once again, the hood looking very weird, or the very thick, very not shaded choker. I don't know where my brain went back then. Like why is this the only, like why is this the darkest part of the artwork? But yeah, I think I'm happy with myself and with what I did and where I went with this. If you're an artist, I really recommend you do this type of challenges, because it's just a way to build up your confidence. If you don't feel like you want to redraw your pieces from last year, because usually I'm seeing people do like this yearly, like a drawing from 2018, then 2019, then 2020. If you don't feel like doing that, you can see I'm doing this bi-yearly. I also have one more than I do bi-yearly, except that one goes 2019, 2021, and now I can do it in 2023. You can go even further back. I feel like redrawing your first pieces is very fun, because there's this point where you're into art, where you have these ideas already and you have some visions, but you're not physically capable of executing them. But then when you do build that skill, you can just go back and do it the way you imagined back then, or even better, because right now you have also ideas and you can just improve on it, overall, and you can have fun with it. And yeah, I just really like it. I feel like it's a very fun challenge. And yeah, and also I like just seeing other people improve, I guess. Both when it comes to like the point that I said, like even from a perspective of a normie in some aspect, like seeing videos of, I don't know, athletes being like, yeah, this is what I was capable of doing 5 years ago, this is what I was capable of doing 4 years ago, and stuff like this, especially with gymnastics. I like these types of like clips, and just showing people do better and better in things they love, and being invested in something and being proud of themselves, and just building something that is good for them and that they enjoy, and just going further and further. And also from a perspective, once again, of someone who is not interested in some topics, you can also think that, hey, I could do this if I wanted. So like maybe not exactly this, but even if I'm like dog shit right now, I could start and I could get somewhere, right? Somewhere. But yeah, I feel like that's all of the rambling I have for today. If you have any opinions on this, any advice, any experiences with doing similar things, or advice when it comes to like this artwork specifically, like if you see anything, you can critique it. I would love it if you left it in the comment section down below. And for now, just stay safe, stay hydrated, stay healthy. It's cold outside, so dress properly. Drink your tea. I'm drinking tea right now. Take your vitamins, whatever you need. Just take care of yourself, and peace.